beyond.
It's become a huge part of my life, but I think on my Mindscape journey, one of my favourite weekends was the first time I took Advanced MindScape with you. And obviously I've enjoyed every class since, because I think I've taken it about 5, 6 times now.
Well, you've organized it about
Yeah,
times, so.
and every time I've taken a class, I've got something new, I've got some new personal growth, and it's really touched me. So, do you want to talk a little bit
Sure.
about how your take on Advanced MindScape?
Well, Advanced MindScape first came about actually in 2004. You know, at the time I was senior instructor already, and I had been teaching Mindscape for well over a decade. I mean, more actually. And you know, I used it so much in my life. Need no introduction, of course, with you with Mindscape, but I used it so much in my life that I began to find that I began to correlate also with other disciplines I had long been trained in and which I use, and began to find that there is so much scope for expanding both the paradigm and the skills, not just horizontally, but more importantly, vertically. And I remember at the time I had spoke to John Bertram and I expressed my wish, and he liked the idea that we can put out an advanced module. So in 2004, I announced the first Advanced Mindscape, which was in Glastonbury, England here, in fact, which, and since then I've been teaching it and achieving great results since then. Okay, a bit more about it. I like to say my Advanced Mindscape, making a distinction because today, sure, this is our instructors bringing out also teaching other versions of Advanced MindScape. So one has to distinguish because they are essentially different seminars. So one has done one of the Advanced MindScape, attending the other is not a monitoring, it's a new seminar. I make that point. So in terms of my Advanced MindScape, I like to say to call it going beyond workshop. Because one of the things we do, in fact, is we break beyond the confines of workshop. We still use the contextual framework of the workshop, which is very useful in getting us as a tool to go beyond what the left brain is programmed that is possible. But at the same time, we also break free of those confines. For example, you know, one limitation which people have from Mindscape, after they've used it for a while and they're eager for more, is they kind of say, well, it's good, but you know, sometimes having to go through all that, the counting, the 21. Well, so the first thing we do, day one, is we program a trigger. A trigger is a hand position which we program, which will link you instantly with workshop. The beautiful thing is this is not some esoteric secret hand position found in an ancient on a mountain in Tibet or anything. It is actually a hand position you get to use, which means you adapt it to your personality or life. But what's important is the programming procedure. There's a very specific, very accurately timed procedure which I lead people through. And by the end of it, effectively, that position, whatever you choose, will effectively link you with that deep state of alpha. So essentially, you can now go into workshop anytime, anywhere. That's the first thing. We learn ways of centering the mind. The analogy I like to make is that you can have the fastest Ferrari in the world, but if you're driving in a street, in a road, littered with debris from last night's storm, you're only going to go as fast as the guy with the tractor in the other lane, aren't you? So similarly with the mind, you may have a powerful workshop, you may have a very open paradigm, but if there is certain clutter which can gather, which can obstruct your intuition, which can obstruct your access to higher information, then you're still not going to achieve that much, and it can be quite frustrating. Because I've been doing Mindscape for ages, you know. So we deal with that. We also work with archetypes, some powerful work actually with archetypes. So whereas in Mindscape 1 we went on the basic archetypes of masculine and feminine, now we go into more specific archetypes, which can be quite powerful because you can access resources which that archetype gives you at any time you need them. We work also with time. Yes, and what you need them for, what you need them. We work with time, and specifically we work with an aspect some people may know from other disciplines called the timeline. Timeline, I've trained it in other disciplines such as NLP, is very popular. However, I have long found, right from day one, that when a mindscaper does timeline with the right accent on the workshop, things change dramatically. It's kind of like comparing, you know, I don't know, a Ferrari with an normal car. It goes faster. Okay, well, fair enough. Ferrari with a milk. And that's an image that's going to stay with me a long time to try to imagine the Ferrari racing in it. Guess who's going to win, yeah. And so yes, we do deal with that technique. Working with time, we sometimes also work with regression. You know, the Mindscape method gives you at least two broadly different but very powerful ways of working with regression, actually regressing in time and experiencing situations from our past which we can deal with. Another aspect which is of interest to Mindscapers, and particularly those who work with Mindscape in their body life, etc., is the 3D scanning. Now in Mindscape, as you know, we do the scanning, but now this is a 3D version. I call it the 3D hologram because you're not only working with your eyes closed with the person in your mind, but you learn to project what you're scanning out in the room, using therefore the 3D spatial aspect of the room to your advantage. This is, as anyone has experienced, a very powerful way of doing it. And even if you don't do scanning as such, you simply use the intuition skills in your work, you'll find that the insight it gives you, the 3D insight it gives you, provides a much richer input of information. So that is something we address as well. And then there is working with group energies. We're used to tuning into a person, an animal, etc. But tuning into a group energy makes a big difference. So whether you're tuning into a family or a group in an office, or a group energy being a digestive system, the group energy of the different organs, etc., things like that. So we learn to do that by working on the energy of the group itself. We do some interesting work, and that gives a reading, as you know. And then with remote viewing, that's a part of the body always likes, that's the fun part, isn't it? Mindscape. Well, yeah. Well, Mindscape already, let's put it this way. Mindscape is already remote viewing. Any Mindscaper can already remote view. Isn't that what we do in scanning after all? But this refers specifically to the method of remote viewing, called the open method. As for instance used by the remote viewers of the military in that secret project. There is a lot to be learned in that, and it gives us actually a new tool. And people always have fun with it because we do various tests and experiments, as you know, in class with big photographs which we send and have to pick up, and people really have a ball with that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for me, the first time I did that, to get something was just like, oh wow, you know, it really helps you build on your trust around the intuition as well.
And in fact, an interesting thing is that we do it outside the boundaries of the workshop, because while the workshop is obviously an amazing tool, that's what makes Mindscape such a powerful method, yet when one has been going on for a while or is advancing, there is a point at which you keep using the tool, but it's important to also go beyond it. Otherwise it can be a crutch. So at an advanced stage, for beginners obviously it isn't. But and finally, you know, I'll mention working with the field. This is one of my favorite techniques. It's a field that isn't, it's a technique that isn't taught in many seminars, quite hard to find, but it's about working with synchronicity, the concept of oneness and link of everything. Once we embrace that concept, you can then put out any question, ask for any information, and the field around you, the synchronicity of everything, will give you the answer. If you know how to look for it and you know how to open yourself. And I think anyone who's done Advanced MindScape will know this is one of the fun parts that we spend almost our entire afternoon just on this technique, and it rises to a crescendo at the end, doesn't it? Where we do a group exercise, and which I think is nothing short of amazing. At least that's how I find. Which one is your favorite technique from the?
Do you know, the most powerful one I think for me personally has always been the archetypes.
Oh, the archetypes.
The insights from that have always been really rewarding and insightful. But I love it all. I think the first time I took the course, I was like, right, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? It was kind of in a sweet shop going through.
Yeah, that is the feeling, isn't it? And what happens, I think, with the archetypes, not just the archetypes, but anything else, is that people start to build up on this idea of also seeing that everything is linked. Because even the techniques, it's a 3-day seminar, but starting from day one, you start to find a link between the techniques you do, the results you get, and until finally you build it up into one whole that really shows you the synchronicity of everything. And once you understand that synchronicity, not just from here, but from here, then everything opens up for you. And Really, I seriously consider, for instance, that technique to be worth the entire seminar. I always say, if people, just don't take anything with them at that alone, then they've really taken a huge bonus for their life. So, that's it. Join us. You have a good time.
I think one of the things for me about your advanced MindScape is finding that balance between using the workshop and going beyond it.
Yes, that's
Because it's very grounded
yes.
in the workshop.
Yes.
Because I think that's the common framework that we're using to guide the intuition
Yes,
and
absolutely.
train ourselves. And I think you get a really nice balance between, okay, that's important, this is how we can extend and work with it, but also how we can go with it.
Well, I'm glad that you see it that way, because that is obviously one of the things I'm anxious to get across in Advanced MindScape, that when I say beyond the workshop, it has nothing to do with shedding the workshop tool. No, that is very important, both as a training procedure and as a parameter for the mind. But as I said, by going beyond it in certain specific ways, we can then expand vertically, because otherwise it can also have its limitations when you get to advanced work that I know some people don't want to do. So, yeah.
So if people have taken the first MindScape class the weekend,
Okay.
can they come straight to the advanced class?
Well, there was a time when we used to say that people should have practiced it for a certain time. I still recommend that people do. However, there is no prerequisite in that sense. We have had several people who, because of the way the dates coincided, went straight from Mindscape, literally the next weekend, back to back, to Advanced Mindscape, and did very well. Naturally, if you happen to have had Mindscape sometime before and have been practicing ever since, things are going to be smoother for you. You're going to perhaps get a little bit more, but it is possible for anyone. The only thing we say is that you at least workshop. So if I say go to workshop, obviously I don't expect the question, what's workshop?
Well, you were waiting the other week.
So obviously that is why we make a prediction that one has to have attended Mindscape.
So if you've attended the Mindscape workshop and you can take yourself in and out on your own and you're comfortable.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. We're not expecting that the person has achieved, some high status. After all, it's always a learning process, isn't it? I don't think you can really say I'm there. It's a learning process.
Never are.
No, you never are.
Another aspect of it for me is having taken Mindscape, which is like a common toolkit that everybody can use in every aspect of their life. To come and spend another 3 days in that group energy looking into the Mindscape toolset just kind of grounds you in that space even more and gives you more to play with.
Absolutely. Gives you more to play with, and it becomes quite exciting actually from the first morning, because when we program the trigger, because once you have the trigger, you suddenly realize that although we do not depart from the full method of going through the relaxation, the numbers, the colors, the 21, etc. We do not depart from it. That is important to keep. However, for certain situations where you need something quick, you need something handy, then the trigger serves you well, and it gives you something. Whereas before, people will just say, oh, sometimes it's a bit too long. And like I get many body talkers who say, I see so many patients a day. Like, how do I deal with this? And now it's fine, because you can just go in once, and anytime you need to link in, another patient comes in, you simplify your trigger, and you're there. You can enhance the state even more.
I was giving a Mindscape presentation, I think it was in Northern Ireland, and I used my trigger to get myself into Mindscape, and one of the women on the front row went, oh, I felt that. I thought, she was sensitive how she could feel my state change. And she was like, oh, okay, I know you're doing something.
Interesting you say that, because I was needed to work on someone at home or something, and I was in my living room, and I said, let me do this, and I linked to my trigger, and the cat actually noticed. I noticed the cat sit up and look at me like, hey, what's going on? And that actually was, when I'm using thing, I couldn't help laughing. So it kind of tallies with what you're saying. Well, no, I think all I can say is, I think if you've enjoyed Mindscape, You will enjoy Advanced MindScape. I invite you to join me on a new 3-day journey and exploration where we will explore different ways, different levels, different techniques. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.